cannot make up Bob Dylan's voice. And yet, one of the most impactful musicians, musical forces, musical poets in the history of music, certainly in the history of music from, say, 1960 on. I saw a Bob Dylan concert once. My wife and I went, and I'm trying to remember. Yeah, it was in the old arena, which had terrible acoustics. It was a tough place to listen to a concert because sound's just bouncing all over. But Dylan, there's one song I love. It was actually a Grammy Award-winning song for him that he did for that Michael Douglas, Tobey Maguire film. God, what was it called? He's a professor. Anyway, great film. Great film. Things Have Changed is the name of the song. Wonderful song. Great video if you ever get a chance to watch it. But about 3/4 of the way through a song, I said, you know what, that's Things Have Changed. I had no ability. He sounded like his voice was awful, just awful. More advanced in years. Everything was almost unrecognizable. It didn't really matter, though, in the moment because it was Bob Dylan doing it live. It was a lot of fun. But last night by the Traveling Wilburys on our Wilburys weekend, back with Zane Sweeney here in bringing Josh back into our conversation. And guys, I think what I'd like to touch on right now, and we were talking off air about some of the reflections on the NBA Finals and the personalities that have emerged in such an interesting way. And before we go to Wemby, I'm going to start with Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson, to me, is one of the great storylines, and that almost trivializes how I perceive him. He's not a storyline. He is a man of substance. 6'2". He's not 6'2". He's 6 foot. He's 6 foot
He's
tall.
5'10".
He could be. We don't know, but people I know that know him and have seen him say he's 6 foot. Maybe that's in shoes. But what he did, because the guy's not super athletic, nope. He's not lightning fast, not lightning quick, is never going to dunk at all, much less on you. And with all of the emphasis in the NBA on analytics, on metrics, on length, on reach, and I know they matter, but there's a guy, it always comes back to, you can't measure heart, number one, it's skill and hard work in preparation for the moment. My final, comment would be, when I view the Spurs, and we've used this on this show before, Josh, the Spurs look like they might be able to take the elevator to success, where the Knicks have had to they've had to climb the ladder, 2 rungs up, 1 rung back. Have success, have failure. Go through the highs and the lows to finally arrive at this moment and then meet the challenge of this moment. Up to and including the final game when both teams were really struggling offensively. But who emerges, Zane? Jalen Brunson, 45 points. 45 points. Massive. In the deciding game on the opponent's court. Massive. Right.
Massive game. I mean, a life-changing game, a legacy-changing game. A good friend of mine who's a basketball opinion I trust a lot texted me after saying he is the biggest equivalent he can think of is Yamamoto in baseball for Jalen Brunson as an elite level closer. A guy, when you see his number called, and I lived it, I went to Game 7 Blue Jays versus Dodgers.
You were there?
I was there.
Oh, my God.
In person.
We're not worthy. This is Wayne's World now.
I thought I was sick to my stomach after that game. I can't even imagine what you were doing in the city
that must have been just insane.
Top 5 and bottom 5 nights of my life, for multiple reasons. But I say all that to say, when Yamamoto came out, it was like Darth Vader coming out. I mean, the entire place shrunk. You could hear his name everywhere because we knew, a killer was coming. And Brunson has that kind of feel at the end of games. He is just systematic. He is inevitable. And yes, he has some stumbles for sure. 45.
Everybody does. And the thing that I love about Brunson is he is, to me, the epitome of the modern athlete. The stumbles mean nothing They just mean you got to go on to the next play and make something good happen. He does not dwell on anything. Josh, you were going to make a couple of comments.
Well, sure. I just want to touch on Brunson. He's led the NBA postseason in fourth quarter scoring for the last 5 years. He's been to the finals once.
Right.
That is
Incredible.
psychotic. Like
It is.
Like you want to, you're right. Elite closer, Zane. Like that is absolutely unreal. And like how do you find that? Like, how do you, as a guy, just are like, fourth quarter means nothing to me? Actually, as a matter of fact, I will score more in the fourth than everybody else.
I will score more with the other team doing more to stop me from scoring more, and I will still find ways to get it done. And what I love in the fourth quarter with Brunson, and I alluded to this in my opening remarks, Josh.
No fear.
You've got, if it's a three, open three on somebody else, a penetrating kick to him, open three, he'll hit it. If it's a side step three, he'll hit it. If it's a three over Wemby, he'll hit it. But if it means having Castle up in his body, 45 feet away from the basket with help coming from all directions, he will still find a way with the ball to get him on his hip and control him. And that can be a pull-up jump shot at the free throw line. It can be a teardrop in the lane. It can be getting all the way to the rim on the right or left side. It doesn't matter. What his expertise and where he separates himself literally from every other player in the NBA in this era right now is he will punish you for whatever glimmer of light you give him. He will take advantage of it. And he'll take advantage of it in the most pressure-packed situations.
Yeah, he has all the tools. You can't stop him. Full stop. You can key in on him. He'll make the right pass. But his ability to play off 2 feet down low and not panic, just make a choice, and he's ready for it. But it's slow motion for him. You can just tell. He's just ready. And to your point, how does that happen? I don't know if that's God-given. Rick Brunson is famous for the videos of training young Jalen Brunson like in the city. I don't know if that's from birth, just hard training by an NBA level guy, or the Lord.
I'll give you a couple of examples of God-given.
That's God-given.
Joe Mauer, who played with Zane Sweeney and my son Steve at Cretin-Derham Hall High School in St. Paul, Minnesota. Joe was the National Player of the Year in football, National Player of the Year in baseball.
Wow.
First team All-State in basketball.
Okay.
Not bad.
And he never touched a ball from the last season to the fourth game of his senior season from grade 11. Never touched a basketball. He's just God-given. When he was a little guy, his parents would take him out into the yard, and they would take little pebbles, and Joe would have a thin stick, just a stick from a tree, and they'd toss him pebbles, and he was just whacking it out of the yard. Just God-given. Wayne Gretzky, God-given. He reminds me of Brunson in the way, not big, not strong, not super fast.
Doesn't even look like an athlete.
No, I mean, I saw one of those really horrible 1980s TV shows where they had like tournament of the sports competitions of the stars, and they had a sprint.
Oh, against Pele and all them, right?
Yeah, and the awful shorts and socks of the era, and all of that. Gretzky wasn't pretty to watch run, but he was beautiful to watch skate, and it was his God-given sense for the game that he could lift the puck off the ice just enough to get it over the stick and onto the stick of his teammate.
Just a fun fact to throw in there. Yeah. He got the nickname the Great One because he scored 200 goals when he was like 11 against other 11-year-olds, and someone just gave it to him, and it stuck, just so you know.
God-given, yes, but you have to, the hard work has to accompany it. Obviously, it happened. So we're talking about Brunson in glowing terms. Final on that with the New York Knicks. Let's just touch on OG Anunoby and his emergence. And here's the connector that I love the most about both Brunson and Anunoby. They're humble guys.
Yeah.
They're not. They're in the spotlight in the way I think in a way that I think should be celebrated because they're not celebrating themselves being in the spotlight. That's what I love about them. OG, after he had the tip in, there was this great court level shot rather, of Brunson and OG's Anunoby on his great tip in Game 4. Neither of them even smiled. They just looked around and they're looking about, okay, what do we have to do now to win the game? It's incredible people. But OG's emergence, Josh, on the offensive end, I think to me, that was one of the many difference makers in this series.
The story of the playoffs. I mean, he was, I think, the Knicks' best player through the entirety of the playoffs. No disrespect to Kat or McHale or anybody, even though McHale struggled at the beginning of the playoffs. But
you mean the best player not named Brunson or the better than Brunson?
Best player not named Brunson.
Okay,
best player not named Brunson.
All right,
second best player on the team.
Okay, absolutely.
Yeah, and he was averaging 20 points. I remember us bringing it up on a Saturday, and I said that the Knicks' success you can attribute to OG Anunoby because he was doing like 22 points a night on 60, 50, 90 shooting.
Incredible.
Or
Incredible
60,
numbers.
50. I don't know if I got that mixed up. OG Anunoby is incredible. And the fact that, it also speaks loud to how many people actually watch the Raptors. Because they're like, oh my God, OG Anunoby, how is he so clutch? I'm like, remember when he caught a three, mid-air and laced it in the bubble in the playoffs? I remember that. They still lost to the Celtics, but, he doesn't shoot to miss. That was his quote after the game. He doesn't shoot to miss. So, yes, OG Anunoby, his big coming out party because nobody watches Toronto sports.
Well, nobody watches Toronto sports, but I think, he's so understated, Zane, that he's one of those guys that when he's out there after the game's over and he's got 19 and 8 and he's locked down the opponent's best player, he does things that aren't always gaudy or flashy in terms of numbers, but he just goes about his business methodically and incrementally has improved year on year to get to this point where now he is, as Josh correctly points out, the second best player on the NBA championship team.
Very lunch pail type of team, very New York style, I guess.
Couldn't be a better team to fit the personality of the city.
100%. And alongside him is another player that shares that energy, and maybe my favorite Nick right now, which is Josh Hart.
Josh Hart's glue guy.
Will shoot 10 if the team needs him, and he'll shoot 0 if the team needs him. Whatever you need, he's there to do. So if you have Anunoby and you have a guy like Hart next to him, two maniacs that will die on the floor, literally, for each other, I think that frees up Anunoby to give a little bit more on offense than he's been allowed to in the past. And opportunity met him, and he was ready for it. But like you were saying, he has been ready. People have just forgotten about him because he wasn't on nationally televised games for a while.
Well, nationally televised games, and he's understated. You're absolutely right. I think, the point on Josh Hart, final comment on the Knicks, then we'll take a couple of minutes on the Spurs, is that Josh Hart, the Villanova connection, of course, with Bridges, Hart, and Brunson is huge. But Josh Hart is just the quintessential glue guy.
Yep.
Whatever you need done, 0 points, 8 rebounds, lockdown defense, muck things up, I'll do that. If I'm open, I'll take the 3 because I've been told to and people believe in me and they want me to. Streak shooter, absolutely.
Yep.
One shot goes in, the next one bricks off the side of the backboard. That's how he shoots.
He might just get his own rebound and put it in.
He might, but he's relentless. And again, in Game 4, he had 2 critical mistakes. Missed a wide open layup. He kind of cuffed that one, and then there was a defensive play, too, that could have been very, very costly on Hart's part. But just like Brunson, relentless. Just relentless. That relentlessness. And then combined with Mike Brown's coaching style. And I feel for Tibbs. Thibodeau, crotchety, old school to a point. But it's one of those situations where really not by design, but by pure luck with Mike Brown, the right guy who was about 10th on the list of the Knicks to hire, last resort kind of hire. They knew they had to get rid of Tibbs to get over the hump. Tibbs established so many great things in this organization in terms of toughness, particularly on the defensive side of the ball. But he ran his guys into the ground, his starters into the ground.
Yeah.
Brown comes in. I think he really freed up guys, kind of like Steve Kerr did with
when Mark Jackson left.
Yeah, when Mark Jackson left, absolutely. So, just a great story, fantastic story. What a parade! The Toronto parade was great. Well, what a parade in New York!
The pictures you got from the Toronto or the New York parade, unbelievable,
unreal. Okay, so going on to the San Antonio Spurs, everybody agrees what a great young talented team.
Yeah.
I'm going to save Wemby for last. I'm going to talk about Dylan Harper, best player by far for the Spurs in Game 5. Absolutely. Yet the decision was made by Mitch Johnson to keep the ball running through De'Aaron Fox's hands. Didn't work. Didn't work out. Now next year, though, like people are clamoring for De'Aaron Fox to be traded. He's not going to be traded. They can't get rid of that contract. That kind of contract with that kind of performance, unless they want to just get him off the books and are willing to take very little value to get him out.
Sure.
But then becomes the problem. They're going to have to eat a lot of his salary for another team to even take him. He's not like he's a bad player. He did have a bad finals.
Yes.
But the point has been made. They would never have gotten to the finals had it not been for De'Aaron Fox. The guy can still play. But now you have with Dylan Harper, one of the brilliant young rookies. I mean, you have Con Kneppel and
Cooper Flagg
battling it out for Rookie of the Year. But maybe in the end, the best player out of this group may end up being Dylan Harper down the road. You don't know, but he's phenomenal. How do you not start him next year? And who do you sit if you do start him? I have an idea, but what would you do? Would you start him? And if you did, Zane, who would you sit?
Oh, wow. Well, I think the obvious leading choice is maybe you sit De'Aaron Fox for him. That's just going to, I think, dynamite your team, to bring him in. But if you're looking to give De'Aaron maybe that shot in the arm, maybe you do put the rookie, well, I guess the sophomore now, over him and see where the chips will fall. Because I know he's been a little questionable behind the scenes.
Dylan's surprisingly chatty in the wrong way behind the scenes. And, those are things that you hate to hear. But then again, we don't know what's really being said and how it's being said.
Exactly.
We're just dealing with social media nonsense.
Right, for better or for worse.
How about you, Josh? Who would you sit?
Sit Steph Castle. It's fine. Dylan Harper is a good defender. He does all the same things that Steph Castle does. Maybe has he has a more reliable mid-range shot, I would say, and I'd say they're about on par from beyond the arc. Steph Castle made some good shots. Dylan Harper made some good shots, but they're both gritty defenders, and I think that's really the identity that the Spurs are trying to build. And I think Dylan Harper has the confidence to really take over a game on the offensive side of the ball while not forgetting about his responsibilities on the defensive side of the ball.
Well put. And what's great about this conversation is we're going to have three different choices.
You're sitting Devin Vassell?
I would not start Vassell. And here's why, very specifically. He deserves to be a starter. But what a great sixth man.
Right.
Because he's such a high-energy player and he's such a mucker. If you bring Vassell off the bench, what he will do compared, for instance, to Johnson, who was the sixth man of the year, I would rather bring Vassell in for one of the three guards and bring that kind of energy into the game first off the bench, because I think Castle is a better, as long as he doesn't have to be the primary ball handler and get 20 turnovers in 2 games, but I think. I think Castle has more of a starter's game, and I think Vassell has an adaptable game that his energy can come in, and he can give you 20 to 30 minutes off the bench and give you a real lift energy-wise. That would be my choice.
I propose to you Steph Castle, starter's game. Lou Williams, starter's game. Came off the bench his entire career because he was worse as a starter. I mean, he was actually worse as a starter. His numbers went down because he was going up against elites more, but you play him starters minutes coming off the bench. I don't think you can take Devin Vassell out of the starting lineup because you need that 3-point spacing for the entire team, particularly if, like, De'Aaron Fox doesn't have a super reliable 3-point shot, nor does Dylan Harper or Steph Castle if they stay in. Julian Champagny, good 3-point shooter,
Real good.
Real good
Was their
three-point
best
shooter.
three-point shooter.
Yeah. Victor Wembanyama, yes, he can shoot the three ball and he can shoot it reliably, but his job is to be close to the rim. And Mitch Johnson, you have to get him closer to the rim.
We're going to take a break and stay with us for this next segment because I think we're going to spend the whole segment talking about Wemby. So this will be fun. You're listening to Hoop City. Paul Sir, Josh Fenwick, and Zane Sweeney here on your sports leader, Sports 1440. We'll be right back. Paul Sir, Zane Sweeney, Sports 1440. That was the Traveling Wilburys. That was Roy Orbison's one solo track with the Traveling Wilburys. And what was interesting in a very sad way was Roy Orbison passed away during the recording or just after the recording of the Traveling Wilburys' first album. And if you watch the video of the last song that we'll play today, The End of the Line, the tribute that the Wilburys made to Roy Orbison was to have his guitar in a rocking chair while his voice was, of course, dubbed in because they're lip syncing anyway. But Roy Orbison, 4 octaves, unbelievable hits, and the blend of his beautiful, pure voice with Dylan's raspy voice, along with all of the other talent on the Traveling Wilburys, made it so much fun. We're here. We're talking about the Spurs right now and the New York Knicks. We've gone through the Knicks. We've touched on the Spurs and who we would bench if we wanted to start Dylan Harper. But let's talk about the big guy, the alien. Everybody, of course, fawning all over Victor Wembanyama. Had a great. I mean, overall, when you look at his impact, the only reason the Spurs won 60 games, the reason that they got to the NBA Finals, it settles on Victor Wembanyama, a marvelous athlete, skilled, graceful, a shot, a beautiful pure jump shot, a tremendous foul shooter, fantastic shot blocker. When you watch the way the opponents are playing, and whenever they go to the basket, everybody's always looking for where is Victor Wembanyama. They are always apprehensive and worried about that, as they should be. And he had some historic performances. However, rookie mistake in Game 2 on the rebound. As the game's winding down, he makes an errant pass into the back of Stephon Castle. Ends up costing them the game. Came back. They won Game 3 in New York, and they were rolling New York after the first half, up 27 in Game 4, go up 29 in quarter number 3, and then the wheels come off. One of the reasons the wheel came off, 2 of the reasons. One, horrible shot selection by the entire team, including Wemby, of just chucking up soft contested threes as the I often talk about this, Zane. When you're shooting and you're in a zone, the basket looks like it's the size of a rain barrel. When you're tight and the ball's not going in, it looks the size of a golf cup on a putting green. And you could certainly see the throat tightening on all of the Spurs in the second half, but they did not respond. And Josh, you were talking about it emphatically and off. Like, why doesn't Wemby get down in the block? It's a good question.
Yeah, I mean, he needs to get down in the block. And I think back to Game 2 of the Finals where the Spurs were down 14 and they came back. And Wemby, I think, had 10 of their 14 points, made up 10 of the 14 points. And I think all but one of them was within 5 feet of the basket. He definitely made a 3, but
you're right. He was around the hoop.
He was around the hoop. He had some great post spins and whatever, and was just getting it in there. And I know what's been brought up regarding Wemby and all-time greats is the move. You need a move. Hakeem had the dream shake. Kobe had his fadeaway, right? Like, even if you look at guys right now, like Tim Duncan had his back to the basket and then turn around, bank it in. Same with Kevin Garnett, had a reliable mid-range shot. Trae Young right now has a floater that nobody seems to stop. Same with Jalen Brunson. Wemby doesn't have that thing. You need something that you can reliably go to all the time to get your team out of a funk. And his is 110% a post move because he is 7'4". That being said, I do think there's something to be added here in Mitch Johnson and his ability to call plays coming out of a timeout. I'm betting Declan talked to you about it last week, Paul, because we both were very angry about just the lack of post touches that would come from a timeout, because Wemby would be in the post and they would use it as like what's the word I'm looking for here? A fake out, a decoy. Yep. It was like, oh yeah, we're going to put Wemby in the low post. We're going to have him run around a little bit, and then we're going to kick it out to Dylan Harper or De'Aaron Fox or Steph Castle or whoever it is, and then we'll get him a look from 19 feet. No, he's 7'4". Throw it to him. Like, he'll get up and get it.
And at times he did in traffic, for sure. Zane, your thoughts?
I had mentioned this as we kind of came out of the break about the concept of, leading a horse to water. Mitch obviously has some to blame. Watching Wemby, he's not dictating his own game. He's allowing the defense to dictate his tempo. He gets pushed out from down low and he just settles at the mid and the three. Mm-hmm. I doubt that's the game plan. I would love, a closed door, no mics, no camera conversation with the coaching staff with the Spurs to see maybe their ATOs are for him to get down there and he's not teeing up well enough and the Knicks just did a good job of taking away. Maybe they're trying to avoid him getting injured, because I know there was a lot of questionable stuff with his hips and his knees down low when he was jumping, getting pushed around. I don't know what it was, but at the end of the day, it's Wemby's responsibility to be a best player, to be a star, and to just be simply 7'4". Demand it down there.
You guys make great points. I'll layer some thoughts in. Number one, I don't think Wemby physically, at 22 years old, with the kind of body that he has, and he added relative to his body, he added a lot of muscle this year, but he's still 7'4", 225. Yeah. I mean, he's still a slight player in a very, very physical game, very, very physical game in a league that has gone back to allowing almost old school physicality. A little bit. I hate that word, old school physical play. I hate physicality. It's the most annoying word in sport. But old school physical play. That's number one. But number two is his conditioning. He is not, I don't think, physically ready to play 44 to 48 minutes a game. He does not have that kind of body. If I have a comment on Wemby's ability to become one of the greatest players of all time, my biggest fear is injury, because he's on the ground many, many times every game. That is not going to work. If he is off balance that much, falls or gets knocked down that much, that is going to take its toll. Look at Giannis Antetokounmpo and the way his game has eroded as he through physical play just has had more and more injuries. Like Wemby's 22 now, he won't be that forever, and that this is going to take its toll. I think a lot of it is his own mindset. He started out the year playing closer to the basket, and that's one of the reasons the Spurs had such great success. I don't think the Spurs ran actions to put him in positions to get in the low block, and I go back to something as basic and as simple as the old Stockton-Malone cross screen, where Stockton would come across, set a dirty screen on Malone's defender, and Carl would be able to shape up in the low block and get the ball. That's a very mindful, purposeful way to get him the ball. Spurs don't do that. They immediately go to the perimeter. Wemby's out there running screens. And then Wemby loves to get the ball and shake and bake. Yeah. And, and when he makes a great move and a great shot, it's like, my God, the guy's unbelievable. We've never seen anything like it. He hits the logo 3 in game 1. Yeah, absolutely. Phenomenal. Never seen anything like it. But that's not what's going to make him great. What's going to make him unstoppable? We were talking off screen. It'll never happen. If he had the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar skyhook, unstoppable. If he had Tim Duncan's turnaround, unstoppable. If he has a mid-range pull-up as opposed to getting all the way to the hoop and throwing something up at the basket, unstoppable. Then you get into the lobs and the purposeful way that you can run offenses to get Wemby actively engaged in the low block, which will make it'll do two things. It'll make his outside game easier. And number two, you can play a lot more inside out in the Spurs because everybody's going to be throwing people at him, and you're going to have somebody open for the 3-point shot. So Mitch Johnson, I think, he has probably learned a lot of lessons, because let's not forget, he's the first coach that is not named Greg Popovich in a long time. And he's basically 38 or 39 years old. Like, he's a young guy. His father also was a great University of Iowa player. John Johnson, involved in the greatest college game I ever saw. 104-103, Iowa against Jacksonville with Artis Gilmore. Back in the day with downtown Freddie Brown when there was no 3-point play. Unbelievable game. His dad was a great player for the Cleveland Cavaliers, and one of the great University of Iowa players. And everybody knows I'm an Iowa homer. So, all right, guys. Final question before we have to go to break. Will Giannis Antetokounmpo be traded before the trade deadline, or before the draft this week?
Oh, before the draft.
Before the draft.
Wow.
No.
Because
I think this is a multi-team deal. This isn't a one team interacting with another team. There's going to be a lot of moving pieces here. And as an addition, I think Jaylen Brown will be moved from the Boston Celtics as well.
I agree. That's great.
Before the draft.
Not before the draft.
Okay,
I don't think they're going to get the deal done before the draft, because that's next Friday, right? Next Saturday. They got
It's Thursday, I think, right?
Oh, there we go. It's next week. Anyways, there's going to be a lot of moving pieces to this Giannis deal, and I think there's going to be a lot of the Bucks going, no, we need more.
That's why I think it'll drag out maybe almost to that trade deadline. I think the world also wants to see Giannis put 4 months in a row together on the court without falling down and holding his calf. So I wouldn't be trading for him until I see him at least play through January.
By the way, from ESPN Milwaukee, Giannis wants to stay in Milwaukee, but
classic,
doesn't want to stay on the Bucks.
Okay.
Do you want to play for the Brewers?
The
Michael Jordan
the
thing?
Lynx? Like the Lynx play there, right?
Give him 5 days.
The Minnesota Lynx, the WNBA team? Like
They play over in Milwaukee on occasion.
Okay, yeah. Like, how does he want to stay in the area?
Yeah, he's gonna be the sixth arm in the bullpen. No, I saw that tells me he's getting traded to Boston. I think he's keeping his house in Milwaukee, and he's just gonna commute. Like a madman.
He could, because his kids are in school there, and he's a very family-oriented guy.
I think his kids are in Greece, actually. I think he's the only member of his family, like his wife and children. I think they moved to Greece.
Oh, wow. That's
at the beginning of the season, too, like before the season started.
Okay. Learn something new every day. Here's what I think is he's going to be traded by the draft.
Wow.
I think the Bucks are going to come to the realization that they missed their window 2 years ago with Giannis, that they're going as Bill Simmons says, you're going to have to trade 2 dimes for a quarter.
Right.
And I think that's what's going to happen with him. They're not going to get the value. Very well could be a multi-team deal, as you point out, Josh. I think the leading candidate is Boston.
Boston, yeah.
I don't think it's Miami. So many of the packages that have been offered are like laughable.
Yeah,
they're just nothing. They make the Lou Alcindor, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar trade back in the day look great, and that was a brutal trade for the Bucks. But I think I think it's going to get done, because I think it has to. And I think the Bucks are going to be looking. The other team that comes into play here, which is the other 2 teams that come into play here, because they do have some desirable assets, are Houston and OKC, which is very interesting. That OKC, because the OKC has $1 billion draft picks.
Yeah.
And it might just whet their appetite enough to try to do something crazy, although I can't see that very
They'd have
smart.
to trade Chet, right?
Probably.
For the salary match,
probably.
$50 million for $50 million.
Yeah, and that to me would be lunacy. But I think the deal's going to be done, because I just don't think the Bucks can afford to wait, because a embittered trade value dropping Giannis starting the season with them, I think is just too big of a risk. Then they're going to have to do a fire sale. So that's what I'm looking for. It'll be interesting to unfold, because it's just it's the gift that keeps on giving, but that we're all sick of.
Oh,
it's
my
the
God.
Jello. It's the Jello and marshmallow salad. It's really getting old, So I'm tired of it.
Yeah, he's just got to go.
He's got to go. He's got to move on. League's got to move on. We're going to take a break right now. Zane Sweeney, Legacy Athletics, thanks so much for joining us and shooting the breeze with us today.
Thanks for having me.
We have the Legacy 3x3 tournament. You can go to Legacy's website. You can sign up. It starts July 6th.
Yep.
It's the Hoop City 3x3 league. And we're excited to have you here today, and look forward to lots of registrations for it. All the best, Zane. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
We're going to take a break right now and bring it home on our Traveling Wilbury weekend here on Hoop City with Paul Sir, Josh Fenwick. Thanks to Zane Sweeney on your sports leader, Sports 1440. End of the line by the Traveling Wilburys. And again, what a great video that is. Listen to their music, watch their videos. A lot of fun from an era gone by. Josh, some really good discussions about the NBA. So let's bring it home with a couple of things. And I'm going to jump over real quickly to the WNBA. The other night, the Atlanta Dream played against the Indiana Fever in Indiana, and the Caitlin Clark Angel Reese rivalry was revived.
It continues.
Angel was trash talking. Any pretense that Angel likes Caitlin, those are out the door. I certainly could say vice versa. And in fact, they're playing right now.
Caitlin Clark, 13 points currently.
Caitlin's been playing much, much better as time goes on. Still has too many turnovers, but leads the league in assists. Her scoring's going up. Fever are still a bit uneven, but they're getting better and better over an elongated WNBA season. Last night, the Toronto Tempo beat the Connecticut Sun behind Marina Mabry's 37 points, franchise record. I'll tell you what, she is fun to watch. Mm-hmm. She is tough, and she can flat out play. And this Tempo team at 500 or thereabouts is a fun watch. They play really hard, do a lot of wonderful things, and they have a star in Marina Mabry.
Yeah, they do.
And it's great to see the WNBA off to such an interesting and fun start in Toronto, although Kia Nurse has pretty much been relegated to the 9th or 10th spot in the lineup. But I think that's more indicative of the stage of her career that she's at. She's played for so long, has done and is doing such phenomenal things, not just on the basketball court, but in the broadcast booth. And, I think that Kia's, her career has been wildly successful, but she's in her exit strategy. And to be part of the Toronto Tempo, to be part of her hometown team is really, really special. So draft's coming up. Who do you have as the number one draft pick?
I still have AJ DeBonsa. However, this Darren Peterson thing interests me.
In what respect?
Well, he only worked out with and interviewed with the Wizards, who obviously have the number one overall pick. And now draft experts are saying, well, the Wizards may select Darren Peterson with the first overall pick. The fact that he only took one meeting, I would say AJ DeBonsa should be the first overall pick, and that is my first overall pick.
And I would agree with you. Here's what I hope. Washington is noted for its ridiculously bad decision-making. Mm-hmm. Now, Peterson might end up being a phenomenal NBA player. He might be. But, of course, we both know, and we all know, there's red flags waving all over the place with this guy. Very bizarre year at Kansas. Talent, unquestionable. People that know him, a lot of people speak very, very positively of who the young man is. And again, I feel sorry for any 18 or 19-year-old now and all the weird voices they've had in their ears since they were identified as elite prospects, as Peterson was. But if Washington were to choose him, wouldn't it be interesting to have DeBonsa go to Utah and play in the city that invested so heavily with him at BYU? I think that'd be kind of a cool story, to be honest. And I think the Jazz are on the upswing. And so I think it's going to be real interesting. I think everybody pretty much has Cam Boozer as number 3 going to Memphis. And then Caleb Wilson as the number 4 pick. And then after that, a whole bunch of guards. going to be coming up. So it's going to be a lot of fun this week to get back to the
point guard draft.
Point guard draft, not a lot of wings. Wings are more in the free agency, led by Austin Reeves out of the Lakers. We didn't even get a chance to talk about that. We'll do that next week.
Yeah.
The song playing right now is called David's Song, and it was written by my son Ben, who passed away over 3 years ago. Ben battled trauma and addiction through his life. And in spite of all the demons that were in my son's life, through it all, Ben always made sure he valued others more than himself, and he was kind to others, particularly those that were in the darkest times of their life. And every week I pay tribute to my son Ben and the beautiful soul he was and the way that he treated people, and use that as an inspiration that I would offer to you to treat those in your life that you love with respect and dignity, and those in your life who you don't know that you encounter with that same respect and dignity. We don't walk in our brothers and sisters' shoes. We don't know what they're going through. But please be kind above all else. Have a great week on and off the court. Exciting NBA draft that we'll be able to talk about next weekend. Thank you so much for listening today. Josh, thank you.
Thank you, Paul. I'm looking forward to next week already.
I am too. This has been Hoop City with Paul Sir, Josh Fenwick on your sports leader, Sports 1440.